Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jamie. And tonight we are continuing on our conversation from last week where we talked about, what did we talk about? We talked about a lot of things, and we realized that when we listened back to it, you guys, we got off track and we're going to try.
Last week it was about syllabus. There's no syllabus for witchcraft.
It's having problems. It's what new witches experience when they go to start, right? It's like the problems that we have. And we were exploring how hard it is when you first try to get into witchcraft, especially in today's day, like where there's just so much stuff. I used to think it was overloading, there was overwhelm 15 years ago, 2010, which I can't believe that's 15 years ago. I realize now when people are like, oh, I feel old when you say that. That was
15 years
2010
ago.
was
so
15 years ago.
29?
What? Why are you doing that? I don't know. And then math?
Because you're 44.
Yeah. So 44 minus
15
is 29?
I think.
Holy fuck balls. Yeah, probably. I don't know. We're not going to think about it. I'm 44 now, and that's all that matters. Only today matters.
Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of information out. So what we were talking about last week is so much information, nothing really, no place to really guide you.
Not knowing where to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're picking up from that conversation, and this week, the way that we're carrying this on is to look at the traps that witches fall into. And trap is like a loose word. I just didn't have another way to describe what happens by all of the overwhelm of the stuff, all the distractions, and what that can sort of cause. And we don't even realize as people who post, because we also have social accounts and we do videos like this, right? We're contributors to it. Kat and I are.
We're contributing to
the overwhelm.
To the overwhelm, yes.
Technically, we are. We are trying to, in most of our podcasts and the things that we do, share either personal stories, give you helpful information. But it's just a lot of here's things you can do, because there is no right way to do it in our belief. We don't think there's any one right way. So these are the traps that people can fall into when you're exposed to so much stuff, which is, something that I didn't have to deal with. So now that I see it, I think I'm more critical of it now, maybe even judgmental. I don't know. I try not to be judgy about things, but I just feel like when I see certain posts or I see trends or whatever, it becomes this. I feel overwhelmed for the people who are starting. I was like, damn, if I was exposed to all of this when I first started, what would my path even look like? What would my practice look like? Would I have been so overwhelmed I kind of gave up? Luckily for me, since there was nothing, my thirst for knowledge it was like anything I could get my hands on, because there just really was nothing. So we're going to go over some of the traps that all of this bullshit out there, all of the extra stuff, and it's not all bullshit. I'm being
it's
funny.
Just there's an abundance of information. And it's coming from all kinds of sources, people's personal experiences, what they're reading out of books.
Fake news. Fake news in the witchcraft world is what I mean. It's not real. They just made this shit up so that they could get followers, or so that they could look entertaining or whatever.
Some of it's made up.
Shock and awe.
Some of it's done just strictly for views,
That's what I meant by fake news.
And the spiritual part of it, the practice part of it, the actual growth part of it is really not part of what the goal is on some of those accounts.
Yeah.
It's just really, they've monetized. I would imagine those big accounts are
They have
monetized.
a goal in mind, and it might not be in your best interest.
Yeah.
It's not to benefit you. And we have to consider that in the things that we watch and see and take in and decide to add to our practice. And I'm definitely under the belief that if you see something and it resonates with you and you want to try it out, do it. And then if it doesn't fit, let it go, right? That whole thing. But I think that there's just, with the overabundance, it creates it creates unrealistic expectations. The overabundance of all the witchcraft shit in social media and all over the place can create a lot of unrealistic expectations. So I was going to ask you, because I've never really seen you do this. Maybe once I've heard of you doing it, but something that was huge, maybe it still is. Do you gather all of your crystals and put them out on the full moon to charge them?
I have, yeah. I have quit doing it. I used to do it every full moon for a while.
Every full moon.
Yeah, but I didn't have tables full. I just had like one tray and then some bigger pieces that I would carry outside. And then,
so it was manageable.
Yeah, it was manageable, but still, when you start to think about like, what's the purpose of that? Why am I doing that?
What is it giving you?
Yeah, what was I getting out of it? And I think that's why I stopped, because I'm like, what am I actually accomplishing? I'm putting these out here under the moon because that's what you're supposed to do, right?
To-do list.
Yeah, that's
to-do list.
According to sources.
Popular belief. I think it's popular belief. I think that's a great way to say it.
Yeah.
According to popular belief, all witches put their crystals out under the full moon.
Yeah. All witches make moon water.
Every full moon.
Yeah.
I remember when I told my dentist that I was a witch, and she was like, oh, do you make moon water? And I was kind of taken aback by that. I was like, how would you know that unless you're also a witch? And she's like, my dentist working on my teeth. Like, it was a very interesting conversation. But it really, like, I literally kind of physically, I was like, what? Are you a witch? Do I have a witch dentist? Like, what? But no, she's not a witch. She had seen a lot of it on fucking Instagram and stuff. So she had followed pages that do that. And that was the only thing she knew about being a witch. She's like, oh, so you make moon water? And I'm like, well, I mean, every once in a while, maybe. But.
Well, and I made a moon water video, which is one of our, or not video, a reel? Was it a reel? What's the one you said still gets a lot of hits when I was like, how witches make moon water?
Stormwater.
Stormwater.
Yeah, your stormwater. Stormwater tea and stuff. Yeah,
stormwater. Yeah. Still really popular, and I just made it because it's one of the practices that we do, and it was something that I did.
Yeah.
So
I love stormwater,
and it actually did have a purpose, because like my moon water and stuff, I think making moon water when you have a reason for it, and if you need it for something,
sure.
If you're gonna make it for something, like I like to do things around the super moons, the blue moons, and things like that. I remember we had a blue moon on October 31st a number of years ago, and I put out salt because it was like the it was like this huge, lunar, huge lunar event, right? That we weren't going to have for another 20 years or something.
1 billion years. Right.
So I put a bunch of salt out there, and then so I've got this like charged blue moon charged special, and I marked it in bottles. But guess what? I haven't really used it. I think I might have used it.
Love it? Do you still like that is my supercharged salt?
That is my supercharged salt right over there on that shelf.
It looks very special on the shelf with all the other things. Yes, I know. I get it. That definitely can be one of the traps that we fall into, is the stuff, the checklist, the to-do list, the popular belief of what everybody should be doing, and are you really a witch if you don't, blah, blah, blah. Yes.
So what actual rituals do you do? Because these are these things that we follow, like the making moon water, or putting our crystals out. These are rituals.
They're rituals.
These are rituals. So what do you do? Anything?
My rituals that I do all the time, or like daily, or just any rituals?
Which ones do you actually do? Because I don't do moon water. I haven't done moon water in 6 or 9 months. Haven't needed it.
I haven't done moon water since 2 Aries full moons ago.
Oh,
I know, that's very specific.
2 Aries full moons.
Yeah, so 2 Aries full moons ago.
That would have been 2 years.
A little more than,
Yeah. Okay.
So, for me...
Why do you remember that you did it on an Aries full moon?
Well, I label my bottles, and it's still out of my house, and it was really funny because I had a guest over last year, and it is in an old whiskey bottle, because we buy very fancy whiskeys, and half of me is like, yes, I want to try the whiskey, but the other half of me is like, look at the bottle, I could reuse that for something. So I totally support my husband when he wants to, buy like a $125 bottle of whiskey. I was like, yep, because that's not going to go anywhere.
And let's drink it.
Yeah. Well, it takes a long time to drink a bottle of whiskey for us anyways, but because when you're spending that, you're not like chugging it back, right?
Yeah, it's not the cheap shit that you got to drink like 4 shots of it.
Like that bottle, we probably had that bottle for like 5 years. I mean, it's just, you're just doing little, skoches of it.
A skosh?
A skosh.
Skosh.
But, okay, you got me off track. Oh, so I know that was the last time, because last year when somebody was over at the house, it's in a whiskey bottle and it's not labeled. And I don't know if you know anything about like the rare whiskeys and alcohol places, but sometimes they find these rare stocks and nobody ever made a label for it. It was just like, oh, we put it here, and like shit buried in a wall for 80 years type stuff. So when an avid Scotch lover came over, or whiskey lover, whatever, but all of the above, and he saw that, it's technically, so a lot of my home decor, you guys, are altars, but you would not know it because it is groupings of things that are nicely put together that, they look kind of witchy, but there's all these other meanings. Like I tape stuff to the bottom of things and I put things in little containers, so it looks like a very cute grouping of items, but it's an altar.
It just looks like knickknacks.
It does. So I had this moon water, an Aries full moon water, in my fame gua, so the fame area of your house, which is like where your front door is, all the way at the other side of that. And it was on a gold tray, and it had it had a big crystal next to it. And so he goes, "What's that?" And I was just like, "Nothing special." I didn't know what to tell him because he did not, at the time, he really did not know I was a witch, but I had to come clean with this. He's like, "Yeah, why don't we get into some of that?" And I was like, "It's just water. It's just water in a jar." And he's like, "Why would you put water in a jar?" I was like, "Okay, I'm not getting out of this." I was like, "It's charged moon water. It has a special place in the house." And as soon as I started saying that, he was just like, "Whoop," and just starts like looking the other way. He's like, "Oh, I don't know what that is," So that's okay.
Right over his head.
But my regular rituals are something that I do all the time because I'm very empathetic and I feel a lot, just all the time. And I think way fucking too much, like way too much. When I shower, there's always a ritual when I shower that I stand under the water and I really imagine like negativity coming off of me. And it's not negativity like from the world. It's my own negativity that I create from all the shit that rattles around in my head. I want to relax before bed. So my nighttime shower is very ritualistic for me. Like even the way that I take my vitamins and everything that I do is my little ritual. Yeah, one of the weird things, we built this amazing shower in our home, my husband and I always thought we would always shower together. Because when we first got together, we had this tiny shower. And we were always in there together, Maybe not in the morning, but at night. It was always the nightly shower, and then you get out and blah, blah. We never shower at night together. Because I'm like, nope, I shut the door. I was like, this is my time for me. This is my ritual time now. Where in our honeymoon phase of our relationship, it was like, oh, come here, honey, get in the shower with me kind of thing. And we built our shower for that. But now it's kind of like I have the whole space to myself, and I do my thing. So that is a ritual that I do all the time. All the time.
I think the ritual, if I was to say what ritual am I doing right now, it is getting my feet in the grass, in the dewy grass in the morning. I love that.
So grounding.
Grounding, yes.
But do you think about, so for me, the reason why it's more of a ritual is because when I'm in the shower, I'm envisioning like negativity running off of me. I really.
Well, when I step out, so I will take my dog to the park in the morning early, like 7:30, right? And so the grass is like dewy and the sun is like, it's just coming up and things are warming up and waking up and all of this stuff.
It just feels very goddess-like to be out there.
It does. It feels very spiritual. And so when I get out of my car, I leave my shoes in my car. And so I step out into the grass and I just start digging my feet. And I do think about me and the earth vibing and connecting and, the energy from the earth coming up into me and whatever's in me going down into the earth. And I'm just like, it's such a great way for me to start my mornings. It really is. And when I don't do that for a period of time, I notice it.
You feel
I can tell.
No, I get that.
I can. It's like I need to go get my feet in the dewy grass early morning because it's just so. It's so peaceful for me. It's a calming thing.
It's calming. That's what grounding is, right? It brings you back to center. It's like makes you feel like you're really connected to it all. Mine's when I do things like that, the breathing really helps me too because it's like you feel everything in your body. You're like paying attention to your breath, then you can really hear all the noises of nature.
Yeah,
that's why I walk around my garden.
The other thing that I'm doing with those little morning rituals is like really feeling and expressing or emitting gratitude for everything that I have, for for all the things I have, for my life, because I feel really grateful, and I want to make sure that I'm always grateful, even if things aren't perfect all of the time. But so gratitude and grounding are those. So that's really the only thing. And then I guess the only other thing would be like now I'm like digging in dirt, and I'm leaving the dirt in my nails because you know what? I feel like this. I'm wearing a badge here. This is like a badge of honor with me with the gardening and I go around and dig up weeds and stuff like that. Just go out in the morning and just throw the ball for the dog for a few times while I go around and pick weeds, so I'm not like spending hours weeding. Yeah. But that process of doing that is like there is just something for me with nature that is so magical. and
feel like
comforting.
it's healing. Yeah, I
And
feel
healing.
like
Yeah, healing.
connectedness
Yeah,
is
connecting,
how I
healing.
feel.
Yes,
Yeah, when I walk
absolutely.
around the garden, like the birds, everything that I do in the morning, I love that time for myself.
Yeah.
In the garden. So I'll give you guys a witch tip. I don't think I've ever said that, but one of the things that makes rituals easier to do is when you combine it with something you're already doing. So instead of creating an entire new routine, take something that you're already doing. Like, I'm going to shower every night before bed. So it was easy to add a ritual into that was like cleansing or refreshing myself, or just, the wind down of the day. With Kat, she's going to take, her dog to the park. So she has an opportunity to leave her shoes in the car and like take a minute to do her grounding and centering ritual. And that's going to be the easiest way to add in something that feels right for you, that is not this, I'm sorry, but collecting all the crystals and putting them out every full moon for me is part of that to-do list. It's like, oh, gotta do this, gotta do this. If I'm telling myself gotta, I'm like, ooh, am I really connected to that practice? It's more, what do you need at the time? So I think that there's sort of the pressure of witchy expectations,
Yeah.
That's the trap, is that with all of the overload of information, we have expectations that we either place on ourselves, that we feel like others are placing on us. If we want to prove ourselves as a witch or feel like we're connected to our practice, we have these expectations of what a witch should be doing. And that is a trap. That is a pit to fall into that just gets you really stuck. You lose connection with your practice. You don't realize why you're doing things. Like, you're just going through the motions.
You're
That's where we talk
performing.
about the checklist. Yeah.
You're performing, and which is one of the things that social media has created for us is like performative witchcraft, a
Yeah.
performative version
Yeah.
of witchcraft.
Because it's all about the doing.
Yeah, and I don't know that, if we knew that it was going to be such a bad thing when we started out. I love seeing other witches do stuff, but, and I get drawn into them too. And then I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
look at that space. Look at that,
no.
everything, you're just like, woo.
Because there's beauty in it.
Yes.
I can admire it.
Yes.
We start to go from admiration to placing expectations on ourselves, though, And,
And all of that, what can happen to us is these unintended consequences, right? Because
Yeah.
we feel like, like you said, a loss of connection. So if we're just,
why are we doing
if we're
it?
just doing what if we're just mimicking what we see in social media posts, and we don't have any connection to the actual practice, and we don't know why we're doing it, then it's, we've lost the connection between the act, the thing that we're doing, and the practice part of it, the spiritual side of it. Also, focusing on other people's achievements or creativity can lead us to lose sight of our own path, and it can make it difficult for us to appreciate our own journey.
Yeah.
When you're starting out as a new witch, you don't have a lot of stuff, and you go on social media, and these people have been collecting things for years, or they've spent a ton of money.
Yeah.
They've really invested in their space. So, and it takes a long time to build that up. And so when you're starting out, you may not have much of anything, and it can kind of make you feel like, oh my God, like the pressure's on. That I got to go buy this stuff, and I got to change my space, and I got to do all of these things because the expectation has been set for us by this these images and these
we expose ourselves to.
What
we get
expose
comparison.
ourselves to.
We get that comparison thing.
Yeah.
I think that the to-do list of all the things and what people are doing distracts us from our actual spiritual goals, and why we get into witchcraft in the first place is you want to feel something. So there's doing stuff and action, because witchcraft does require action, but it should start with a feeling. There should be feeling in it, because then it's performative. If there's not feeling, if it's not giving you some wholesome, heartfelt or gut-wrenching, even when it's shadow work and you don't really want to fucking do it because it hurts and it sucks and you don't like it and you cry and it's not pleasant, there should be feelings involved with anything that you're doing with witchcraft. And the feeling should not be, fuck, I gotta go do that again. Oh God, it's already full moon again,
Yeah.
The gotta, that pressure we put on ourselves, you lose sight of what you're actually trying to grow. And I think that sometimes we're in the phase of, I am in the shadow work, period. And I'm not doing rituals, and I'm not really doing anything else that I would have considered witchy a year ago. Instead, right now, I'm journaling, or I'm listening to music and screaming and crying in my car, because that's the therapy I need right now. Yeah. And I know that people don't think of that as like, that's your witchcraft practice, but that is a practice for yourself that is very healing, or what you need to like let the emotions go, get it out, you know, a little rage party in the forest where you're beating the shit out of something with a stick. Like, or not harming anything, but getting it out.
Dramatic is like resting, you know, like taking that
sleeping, yeah, resting,
taking that time to self-care,
slowing
time,
down,
you know?
Absolutely.
Even if you end up in bed all day on a Saturday, staying in your pajamas, well, clearly you needed that. If you did that, then you needed that.
And I think
it's healing to allow yourself that freedom or permission to take care of yourself. Because we, especially women, we have a lot of pressure on us to always be doing, going, taking care of people, all the things we have to do. Yeah. And even if we can stop ourselves physically, the mind doesn't shut up, right?
You feel guilt around it.
The mind just keeps going around and around.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say something and I forgot.
Instead of saying like, what should I be doing? It's like, what do you need to be doing? So we need to come back.
What do you need for you? Yeah.
So we need to come back to this place of like figuring out, what do I need right now? What's going on with me right now that I need? Is it rest? Is it journaling? Oh. Is it being in nature? Is it what, you know, whatever, any kind of ritual? What is it that you need? What's going to soothe your soul right at this moment?
I was going to say something important for the three of us, for me, you, and Jolene.
Okay.
And even maybe, I mean, my husband is on board with this now. We're trying to teach it to our kids. The three witches here, we are fucking sacrificers. Like, we will put ourselves through some shit to get what we want, to do what we need to do, to, like, get to the other side. My mom raised us that way, so Jolene and I are that way. And, you know, one thing that has changed as we've all gotten older, we can take a day and a Saturday and rest. And we used to, if we did that before, we probably wouldn't have told each other, because we would have felt guilty about it, or been like, oh God, we're a piece of shit because we stayed in bed all day on a Saturday. We didn't do anything. We got nothing accomplished. Like, what a waste. What are you doing with your life?
Exactly.
All this judgment. Okay,
it's the what a waste part.
What a waste. So in my 20s, probably, in both mine and my sister's 20s, because we're 5 years apart, and when my mom was, you know, whatever age you were when we were 20s, you were in your 40s then, I would have never been okay. I would have kept that a secret, to be like, oh man, I spent the whole day Saturday like just resting.
It felt shameful.
It did. And
it
now,
felt like something you should
that you should hide.
You should hide.
Don't look fucking lazy. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
But now, for the three of us, what's so beautiful and amazing now that we're all on this journey together is that we will tell each other, we're like, girl, I've been in bed all fucking day. I guess my body just needed it. And we're all like, yeah, definitely. Like, we're supportive in that way, where we're like, you needed it then. If you did not want to get up and do anything on a Saturday, and you literally Netflixed and, you know, snacked or whatever, vegged out, and you needed that, there's no judgment here from each other. And I don't think that it was always that way. So I just love how now we can say that and we don't feel guilty. We're like, yeah, man, I guess my everything just needed a break. Body, mind, soul. Like,
well, I think, you know, part of it is that we've become aware that it's awareness and acceptance. Yeah. So we've become aware of this fact that, hey, we're not being lazy because we stayed in bed all day on Saturday. We're taking care of ourselves. It's a healing thing. It's a self-care.
It's self-care now.
It's a self-care ritual.
It's not being lazy. It's self-care now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you'll admit that, right? Like, years ago,
there was plenty of times where I'm like, I don't want anybody to know that I didn't do a fucking thing this weekend, and my house is a mess and all my laundry's piled up.
Exactly.
But you know what? Yeah. I'm not telling anyone that. No. You know, keeping that little secret to myself.
Yeah. And now we talk about it and kind of giggle, or we're like, yeah, man, I guess you need it. Like, so what? Nobody cares.
So there's
no
the
judgment.
acceptant part of it, right? You accept that this is what you need, and it's okay for you to be lazy that day. No, but you reframe it instead of being like, I'm lazy today. This is self-care. That's what it is.
I think that that's what we should get better at with witchcraft and expectations. I can remember in the past, like a long time ago, but I can remember witches asking me, so how many spells do you do in a day? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, a day? I was like, a month? I was like,
used to get that question.
Sum them up over a year, but like, yeah, I'm not doing spells every day.
We used to get that question in the New Witches group. I remember, like, how, because people, when we had the New Witches meetup group, we had new witches because that was
Like
that was our
brand new,
audience,
brand new,
right?
brand
Like,
new.
no,
Yeah.
like they didn't know anything. They were trying to find out stuff,
Yeah.
so they would come and talk about. And, we just would when we first started, we just opened the floor up to questions that people had.
Yeah.
And I remember that question
Yeah, it
coming
did
up,
come
like
up.
how many spells am I supposed to do a day? And we're just like,
A day.
where did you get the idea that you're supposed to do spells every day?
And when I was writing this, I did think about how all words are kind of spells, right? And that's not what we're talking about. Because energy, the thing that you are daily is a spell. It is energy moving forward out into the world to whatever you're pushing out there, you're receiving back. Like in my mind, that's the way that works. So I can speak things out of pleasantries or anger, and sometimes I get something back for that. So there's that kind of a spell where it's just like your words are just sharp like that and it happens. But what they were talking about is like a spell with a candle and a sit down and you're doing this and there's a whole ritual to the spell. And I just thought, if I had to do that, I don't think that I could qualify as a witch because that would be exhausting for me. I'm not the kind of person who could do that energy and tap in like that all the time, every day. And I don't think I want to. I have so many other things I want to be doing. And it's like a spell is to change something, right? It's to either bring something in or push something out. What the hell am I trying to change every single day? That's what mantras are for. Less than a full-on spell work, but something that you're repeating to yourself all the time. Affirmations,
mantras.
So that you can bring something in that you're looking for, so that you're changing your mind over time, so that you're rewriting habits, whatever it is. But a full-on spell with like all this stuff, like, damn, that would be, number one, that's a lot of materials. Like whatever you're burning and doing, it's like just, you're going to go through a lot.
And the time that it would take, when you think about the time.
Energy time, though, too. Like the energy that it takes.
There's energy, there's physical energy, then there's the emotional energy that you need to for the spell. But
I made a little list of like, this is the checklist mindset of a witch who's maybe been exposed to too many things online that she thinks she's supposed to do all the time, or like have and be like, I got to remember to do this. This is like what witches do. They have this idea of what they have to do. And I put down like full moon crystal charging, right? That you just have to be doing that all the time. You got to be thinking about it.
That's once a month, yeah.
Once a month. Sometimes we do it at the new moon. So I've had questions like, okay, so are you cleansing them at the new moon and then you're charging them at the full moon? So it's like, every 2 weeks we're doing this. I was thinking, girl, if you want to, if you got that kind of energy and if you're trying to bring that in, you go for it. Me, a lot of my crystals hold space where they're at. They're programmed, they're in their spaces. They're just doing what they're supposed to do. I don't have to take them out all the time and cleanse them or charge them. Specific ones that I want to use for a spell would get that kind of treatment. But then again, that's like once every couple of months.
Yeah.
So it was that moon water. If you were making moon water every single full moon, at the end of the year, you're going to have 12 bottles of water, because what are you using it for? So I always tell people, if you're going to make moon water, know that you already have an intention for it. That's kind of where we get into like prepping for the year ahead. What are you trying to bring into your life? You can set out some special dates. You're like, yep, definitely want to make that Aries moon water because I got a lot of stuff I want to start that year.
Yeah, I definitely made some. I can't remember which moon it was, that every morning then I would take my vitamins with it.
There you go.
I don't remember now I can't remember which one it is, but I remember using that bottle of moon water to take my vitamins. Like, I really like this.
Yeah.
This is nice.
There was intention behind it. She did it with purpose.
Yeah.
It's not just all the bottles laying around. And then I've done moon waters where I had plans for them, and then guess what? The need didn't end up coming up. I didn't get to it in time, and then I lost the passion for the thing that I was going to do. And I was just like, pour one out for the homies, like just go put it in the garden. I was like, all right, well, I'm never going to use it.
Plants. Yep.
Yeah, so I just reused the bottle.
Other things we get, checklist mindset, cinnamon blowing.
We ranted on that last week, yeah.
Yeah, we
so if you feel like you have to do that.
Egg cleansing.
You don't have to do any of these things.
Cleansing, salt in your windowsills,
salt wherever, yes. I've seen salt everywhere. Corners, windowsills, door frames, around your yard.
Yep.
You don't have to do any of it. Yeah.
So these practices can be powerful, but not when they're done out of pressure, you know, or that
or
here's my to-do
mindset,
list. Yeah, it's a to-do list.
Yeah.
It's not. It's performative then, and it's disconnected from the purpose of behind rituals, which is to enhance your life in some kind of way.
Yeah, and doing it this way, it ends up feeling more draining rather than being a benefit to your life. It's not uplifting if it's like, I gotta do it. That's a second job. And witchcraft shouldn't be a second job,
No. It should
definitely a hobby and take up time.
When we were talking about this, I was like, well, witchcraft for the most part, should bring you joy, pleasure.
Yeah.
There's hard parts of it, of course, because when you're going through shadow stuff and you're really processing through some difficult things, traumas, a breakup of a relationship, somebody passing away, somebody got sick really bad. Those are really hard times, and that's not joyful. The after is once you're past it and you can look back and be like, oh, I got through that, and here's the things that I learned from it. But for the most part, I think the practice should bring you joy. It should bring you peace. It should bring you calm. It should bring you something that is soothing to your soul.
Yeah, not guilt. So it's like, how do we get out of this cycle of spiritual guilt because we're not living up to the expectations, that, I mean, if we stop following the trends and start listening inward, is getting rid of that. Listen, watch all the beautiful videos. I'm going to do it sometimes. I love seeing it all. And it's like, ooh, that could make me feel like I'm less than. But I've been practicing for over 25 years now. And I'm like, I'm not less than. My practice perfectly suits me. And everything that I have today, I didn't have 25 years ago. I started with minimal things, So practices build over time. And it shouldn't feel like, need to be doing this. Got to have that. Why don't I have this crystal?
Yeah,
I need
some
to be,
kind of pressure to be a certain type of witch.
Yeah.
Look, whatever it is.
So instead of doing all the checklist stuff, try to reclaim your witchcraft for something that like nourishes your soul. That's where we talk about this inward desire of what do you need? What do you need for you, for the growth, for the peace, for the healing, to feel prosperous, to feel loved, whatever it is, like it should come from a need inside of you. That's why I say when you do spell work, there should be feelings that stir with it. If it's connected enough, when I say the words for my spells and there's just so much meaning behind them, like I get very emotional. My voice quivers like I'm gonna cry. It's like I just feel it so deeply that with every ounce of my body, like I'm nervous or I'm really anxious, or it's, again, it's that deep joy and immense connection feeling. So I always say, like, if you feel like you need to be doing something for witchcraft, what do you need today? Maybe you just need a little bit of peace. Maybe you just need maybe you need more joy. Maybe you need something happy. Maybe you need something that will allow you to be sad and cry and, journal about something that hurts. The true magic is about alignment and not aesthetics. I think that's where social media and the abundance of stuff really gets to us, is that it is not about the aesthetics. It is really about the alignment, spiritual alignment, emotional alignment, your needs of alignment.
And that's hard to depict in a Instagram reel or something,
Even worse. Well, I was going to say worse,
it's hard to convey that, right? Which is why we have so many things that people show what they're doing in their spaces. And
it's generalist instead of things that are very specific for, like, what do you need today, right? So they try to do things that are, like, more general. That's why, I don't know when it was, but love spells were really popular, or, I don't even know. I try to forget a lot of this shit because it just doesn't help me to keep it in my brain. But love spells. Jolene was talking about the cord cutting things are getting really popular. Because I asked her, I was like, can you go stalk the internet and tell me what the trends are right now? Like, I don't know how to find... And I hate to say dumb shit people are doing, but like whatever the trendy thing is that now everybody's like, oh, that got a lot of views on this video. I'm going to recreate all of this so that I get more views or whatever. And I'm not going to knock anybody. Here we are in social media as well. I'm not knocking anybody. But as witches who take that information in, don't get stuck in that trap. Don't get stuck in the trap.
Jamie already mentioned this, but the easiest way to create rituals is to add it to something that you're already doing. If it's a morning walk or an evening shower or making your coffee or your tea or whatever it is that you're doing, when you cook for your family.
Definitely. Kitchen witching.
Kitchen is a great place to just add a little magic into it, stir a little magic intention into what you're doing.
Yeah. Imbibe it with feeling.
But that's the easiest way to bring something meaningful, a meaningful practice, a meaningful ritual as part of your life.
Because you already have the need, like you're already going to do the thing anyways. You're already going to take your shower, brush your teeth, take your vitamins, I don't know, dust your feet off at the door. Like whatever, you have these little habits that you already do, and you can add more intention to them to make them like spell work or like a ritual. And that I just want to repeat that. I put that in there twice so that people remember. The easiest way to add a ritual to your life for witchcraft, for spell work, for anything, even if you want to change your habits to like change your habits, change your life kind of thing, Add it to something you already do. Little steps like that.
So so we're talking about nourishing now because we're moving away from like the just performative part, right? We're trying to do something. Yeah, the traps, exactly. So here's some examples of nourishing personal rituals. Lighting a candle and speaking of gratitude or speaking gratitude. Holding a stone and crying if that's what you need. Journaling with tea and intentions, or my favorite
nature
right
time.
Now, nature time.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
time in nature, just to get out in nature. Those are like, enriching. Those feel
and they become
nourishing.
personal to you. There's something you do for yourself. It's not to please anybody else. I think one reason why we don't truly see witches doing their own rituals like for them when they're in their stuff, I know it's why I haven't really put much out there that's like my actual ritual for me, because if you had a fucking camera in your face when you were trying to do that, that's so hard not to concentrate on the camera or know that you're being watched, that everybody's going to see it. A whole different level of pressure comes on then, and how can you really get into the vibe and the mode of it, you know?
Yeah.
When we were recording videos for Witch School, that was one of the things, is like I had to cast a circle. I did it
we
two
did
different
some
ways.
live spells.
We did live spells on there, so we did like 3 each.
Yeah.
So we did things on camera, and we had to talk about last summer when we did this, just how like this is weird. To allow ourselves to fully let go and pretend like the camera's not there, and to really embrace this and know that it could be scrutinized. I mean,
I think
it's not
I cried
unreal.
for one of mine.
Course, yeah. Because that's what really happens with spells that are deeply, connected to something when it's real. I mean, or a ritual of anything that you do. It's like if you really let all the emotions sink in, or you really allow the moment to take hold of you, you're gonna feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I sit on I don't have a bathtub, like ours is a big shower thing, so it's a big shower floor, and it is not the most comfortable thing to sit on, but I sit down on my shower floor sometimes when I really need to just like sit under the water for feeling like I really just need all of the shit that I've been thinking about today. Like, all the times Cameron was in the hospital, really sitting there and letting it, and just not like timing it. It's like, oh, okay, I got 5 minutes for this to go down. Like, this is what's happening. No, just to really sit there and allow the moment to take hold. And then when you're done, you're done. And then you get up and you're like, okay, like that, I feel better, or I released that, or whatever, It's letting the emotions take hold of you, and again, getting away from the performative stuff. For me, every time I light a candle, no matter what it is, because that is part of my spell or my rituals every time, like I can't just light a candle and do it mindlessly. I always say something. I'm just like, otherwise it doesn't feel right to light it. It's like, it's so ingrained in me because that's such a huge part of my practice and has been for so long. No matter where I'm at, if I'm lighting a candle, I'm always like, oh, what am I about to think about? What's my intention? What am I going to say? Like, it's always something in my head, that lighting a candle for me, it's always going to be that way because it has been such a big part of my practice for so long. Yeah.
So let your magic adapt to your energy and capacity. It should heal you, not exhaust you. Yeah. You don't owe anybody a pretty altar.
Yeah.
You don't owe you only owe yourself authenticity.
Yeah.
So
you guys have heard me talk about this before, but this is one of the reasons why I find it very hard to post on social media, because I can't be unauthentic. I can't pretend. Inauthentic.
Yeah.
I can't pretend. It is so fucking hard to pretend. Like it's cringy
You're not
for me.
an actress. You're a witch.
Yeah, listen, I need moments to happen in real time when they're going on. I've got to be me, because doing the whole like
performance thing.
Scene, set, camera on, hit record, here we go. Like, I will freaking lose it. Either I'm going to laugh or I'm just like, I'm going to stutter the whole way through because it's not real. It's not me. Reading a script is, or acting like it's a script, or like pretending to have emotion or feeling about something. I don't mean to sound judgy, but when I see people pretending to have a contemplative moment in front of the camera and they're just like, and they're looking around, I was like, how is that real? How real? Like, so what are we doing here? That's why I can't do that. I'm like, I am not going to break it. The first thing that I do when I start crying and I'm having a breakdown moment, I'm like, I better record this for all of my followers. I'm like, I'm not judging. I'm saying it because it's hard for me. I see that and I'm like, I couldn't do that. For them, that's fine. That's how they do it all.
And also, and if you are a type of person who can do that, who can still
stay authentic and be on camera,
stay authentic and stay in those feelings, those emotions that you need, to do spell work or to change your energy, to change your vibration. If you can do that, more power to you.
And maybe I will one day. I don't know.
But I'm with you. It's like, to me, that would be really uncomfortable and odd. I remember when we did it for witch school, it was like, I remember sitting there at the table, the one with my dad, the forgiveness one that I did. It was really emotional for me. And, I had to, everything around me had to disappear.
Yeah.
And I had to just be right there with what I was doing, because forgiving my father for, 60 years of
abandonment
and neglect
yeah
was and this was after he passed, was something that I needed to do for myself, and it was hard. It was really it was hard.
Well, and you had the courage to do that for witch school, to like really put yourself out there for that.
But I remember when I was doing it, I was just zoned into what I was doing and feeling what I was feeling. And I felt like I was not on camera. I didn't feel like I was on camera because I can remember it. And I don't think that I knew that I would cry, even though if I thought about it before I did it, I obviously, of course, because it's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
when we practice from self-nourishment instead of expectation, our vibration naturally rises. And you know what? That's the thing that changes what's going on in our lives, is when we change our vibration, because we're either drawing something to us, moving something out.
Yeah.
This is when, when we change our vibration, when our vibration rises, that's when our spells actually start to work.
Yeah. And I think that that's what brings us to sort of the last part of this, is like, it's your magic, your way, and that's what makes it better, because it comes from you, your desires, your thoughts, your words, the things you have on hand, nobody else's expectations. It works better that way. It always will. And for me, anytime I've ever taught anybody anything about witchcraft, is that it's the things that are inside of you. You have all the answers in there. It's just sometimes hard to uncover, because we have this like lack of worth, where we think that our ideas, our words, the stuff we have, it's not good enough. That is one of the traps that come from seeing so much online now that I didn't have when I first started. I didn't realize what social media would do for the witchcraft world, and getting all of this exposure and seeing all of these wonderful things, because I can tell you about my first spells and what they look like, and they were very simple and cut up pieces of paper and tiny candles that didn't, there was no, I couldn't get chime candles. Like, no, definitely if you could find small candles like birthday candles, but honestly I had one candle that I used for everything, and that was the start and the finish of it. So looking back at that was my most authentic self, because I had no other influence besides what I could create, and I didn't judge myself against anybody else's work. So I remember what that felt like. I remember how it was just me and like the universe, back then I didn't even use the god or goddess. I didn't say the triple goddess. Nothing. It was just like me and my higher self, me and the universe, like my origin source, whatever that meant, because I had nothing else influencing me in that way. And I think about how hard it must be for people today to have all those comparisons thrown at you. And it's like, you might be disconnected from your practice because you've never really explored what your practice looks like without everybody else's comparison. You know what I mean? It's
or it's just you, your higher self, your spirit guides, the universe, or whoever you look to for the higher power, and a little candle.
And your creativity around that, like whatever that looks like for you. I can remember teaching right before we started the New Witches Q&A, teaching somebody that she's like, well, the spell says I have to have this, and I was like, okay, well, just fuck all that. Like, don't even think about that. What you want to take from that spell, this is what I told her, is look at the words that they're using and the actions that they're doing. Like the items, grab something that makes you think of whatever it was she was working on. I think it was a relationship that she really, really wanted to work, but they were friends. She was friend zoned, and they had already dated and then not dated. It was this back and forth mess. And she's like, I just want to forget about it. I just want to stop being in love with him. I want to like try to move on in some good way. But the guy was still like wanting to be friends. I was like, yeah, can that work for you? Because this is a boundary thing. You need to set a boundary for him and be like, no, you can't just come over to my house at 1 o'clock in the morning because you want to talk and you still want to be friends. No, you need to set a healthy boundary, because that hurts your heart. So going through that, I was like, forget about all the things that were in the book that said, here's how you end a relationship, or here's how you like cut somebody off, cord cutting ritual, right? I was like, I want you to think about what it would look like if he was not lingering in your space, like start thinking about that. So she had the fear of starting her spells and doing any kind of ritual work because she had seen so much online. And she was always searching online for the one that fit her. And I was like, I don't know that you'll ever find somebody doing a spell that is going to fit so much for you that like everything lines up. You need to create that. Like,
well, and the
create that
great
for
thing
yourself.
about that is that you don't have to, because
Right.
like you said, you can use your imagination and your resources, whatever you have.
Things that are meaningful for you.
Yeah, the things that are meaningful
Yeah.
for you, to you.
Yeah. Yeah, spells are not boosted by stress. Okay, let me tell you that. That is a low level vibration. Stress
Yes.
is. When you're doing a spell and you want to fix something or call something in or push something out, you want high level vibration. You need to be up here where it's like radiating more. Low level vibrations stay in your space. They're like, high level vibrations are like, like you're going to attract more. You're going to bring it in more. That's like, it's reaching further spaces. So definitely stress is not going to boost it. It's boosted by like your energy shift towards gratitude, feeling like this is what you want. This is where you want to be. I'm at my highest level. This is what I can give right now. And all of that. I mean, I put on there, I was going to show what this looked like.
I think you just did.
Well,
Is that it? Like really high, it's going out into the world.
That was
really
not,
low, it's down here.
planned.
It's like it's way down here where you're at your base chakra.
Exactly, yeah.
Where everything is about survival and, how do
Yeah.
I just live? How do I just stay alive, right?
Yeah.
That's where stress and anger and fear and
That's those low-level
insecurity,
vibrations,
those low-level
yeah.
vibrations, yeah.
What I thought about with it is like, I think recapturing feeling okay when you're not okay, So I think one of the things that witchcraft has taught me through the years is that I get to be in control of my own emotions. Nobody gets to make me feel anything. I choose the way I feel. And that is really fucking hard to actually deal with, especially as a woman, because I swear hormones curse us and that time of the month curses us. And we're like, I'm not in control of shit. I can get mad at a fucking soda can for no reason. Like, why? I fought my trash can like 2 weeks ago because I was pissed off at the lid. So I don't always feel in control of my actual emotions.
Okay, I just have to see the fight between you and the trash can.
Ooh.
I would be laughing, although it
it's-
wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't funny.
It was
so-
really annoying, honestly. And then I was like, fuck you. Like, it's so dumb. And then I slammed the lid closed because it's one of the ones where the lid, it's a head. Okay, first off, our county gave us these big brand new trash cans and they're great, right? The raccoons can't knock them over. Perfect. Great. Love them. But the lid is really heavy. And when you go to flip it back, if you get it too far, the gravity is going to like yank it out of your hand. And you've got a bag of trash that is also heavy. So you're being pulled in these directions and it's just really fucking tough. So I was trying to only lift it a little ways up to get the trash in there. And then it got stuck on something and then I was trying to wiggle it and this is already up over here and I couldn't get it and I was like, God, I did not want to set the trash bag down. So this is my own shit, right? I didn't want to set the trash bag down because I was already here. I was like, I can almost get it in there. It was ridiculous. It's like, I felt like a child after I did it. And then my husband and I were doing yard work and he heard me saying, fuck you. And he's like, who are you talking to? I was like, life right now. I'm pissed off. Like I was just annoyed that the whole thing, the bag was ripping. Like, see, can I always be in control of my emotions? No. But I realized that I am in charge of them. Nothing can make me feel a way. You decide you're going to feel a way. I was going somewhere with that.
For me, how that resonates with me is, for me, it was like an awareness and an accountability thing where I'm like, I got drunk and I said something fucked up to my youngest daughter. And I'm like, whatever, right?
No, what you said was, it's true, isn't it?
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
That's my super blunt Scorpio thing where I'm like,
she thinks it's not her fault. She's like, not my fault. I just speak my mind.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
so that
what she
was
said.
That was a thing with me.
Yeah.
And so, realizing
unkind.
that, coming to the awareness that, there's, when I saw how much I hurt my youngest feelings, I was like, fuck, that's shitty.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. I'm like, yeah, maybe it was true, but damn, do you have to say it that way? So for me, it was an acceptance of seeing myself, what I was doing, and that it was wrong. And then this accountability to myself to when I would see the pattern repeat at a later date. And I would catch myself. I'm like, this is why, I don't really like to drink anymore. Because sometimes if I drink a little too much, then,
Then there's no filter.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
filter kind
The
of like
filter.
dissolves, and
That happens.
and it's not a good thing. And I don't want to do that. So,
What I was going to show is very simple, but for listeners, it's really about I place my hands over my chest so that I can feel my breath. And I'm trying to step back from the fact that I go through many realizations. Number one, this is Earth School. This is not who I am. This is not what my soul really looks like. Jamie is a person that I'm taking on for this lifetime for all of the reasons that I decided in a soul contract. So I remember how actual little like this life is right here. All of the feelings are real. Everything that's in it is very real. But I start remembering what and who I really am. And it's not this small existence. Like I've lived millennia, right? Millions of years maybe. And I don't that's what I believe about my soul. So this life right now is challenging me. If I remember who I am and that this is for a bigger thing, I stop worrying about all the little petty shit that pisses me off. Take, for example, the trash can or slow drivers. Like, I don't know, just things that annoy me. It's like, should this really annoy you? You can come, this is not a big deal. Like, in the grand scheme of things, how big of a deal is this? And I just bring myself back down to yeah, there's so many other things that are wonderful and awesome. And I feel it in my chest when I start to do that and say it. It's almost like I want to cry at the realization of, oh yeah, remember what the fuck you're doing here.
are we talking about shifting your energy to gratitude?
Yeah, just shifting that your mind, the chatter in your mind right then where you're just pissed off, angry, it's unfair, whatever's going on, and you know what? This is not what my existence is supposed to be right now. I can choose to walk away from this and it's fine. Fuck it. Is it really that big of a deal? Nope, it's not. I have bigger and better things. I'm doing more with my life. There's a bigger purpose. There's so I go from I'm really focused on the here and now and my ego is meh, yelling at me or whatever. And so it allows me to be pissed off and I just want things my way and do this way and get out of my way and whatever. And then it's whoa, slow down. Okay. The ego is taking over too much. So the reason that I put my hands on my chest is that I can start to feel my heartbeat. When I take a couple of big deep breaths, it's okay, there we are. This is how I center myself and all right, bring all the energy where I'm flailing around out here acting like a 3-year-old back to center. And it's okay, regroup. We got this. This is not a big deal. There's nothing to this. It's going to be okay. There's a purpose in everything. And so those are all those things I'm saying right now. Those are all mantras that I've been telling myself for a long time when I need to calm down. And that's how you shift your energy. And those little words right there are a spell in themselves. You don't need to break out huge altars and on the full moon and collect all the things. Literally, that does more to shift you energetically than putting together all the things that start to stress you out, and then you got to pick up everything from the spell and put it all back and all of that. Just paying attention to something that's very meaningful. All the things I spoke about, they're meaningful for me. So if you find something that works for you in that same way, you can bring your energy back down and okay, now I'm ready to go forward again. Now I've shifted this and just not gonna let shit bother me like that. That's so ego. That's not my higher self, right? That's not the purpose of me being here. Me being able to control my emotions like that and bring it to a place where it's I'm okay. And we use this now since last year. We observe, not absorb what's going on in the world or with a person, or if somebody's mad at us, it's ooh, I don't take it personally anymore. I used to, as a people pleaser, I used to be oh my God, they're mad at me. Oh no, fuck, my life is ruined. My mom, when I was growing up, she had a sigh that she did. And I hadn't thought about it in forever since I was a little kid. Because, we grew up in it was a stressful household for a while. And, you fucking struggled and all the things. So I was very aware of what was going on with my mom. And she would have this sigh. And it was And I didn't realize it until she moved back here to Florida, that when she did that, my shit would spike in stress. And I'd be oh, God, what's wrong? Did I do something? Is she mad? What's she mad about? And I didn't even realize I still had that programming from being young, because we didn't live around each other for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I had to, the first year I didn't even tell her about it. I was just always stressed out around her and fucking worried if she was mad at me or something was going on, or I need to be the good daughter, or fix shit, or offer to help. I don't know. And
try to fix it.
Yeah, the people pleasing thing that I learned it, because when you're a people pleaser, you do that. If you don't know, you do that so that you're safe. If people around you are happy, then you're safe. If people around you are upset, you're not safe. And that is what you learn. That's how you learn to be a people pleaser. So if you needed that, you're so welcome. That's 10 years of therapy right there. But when you start realizing that like you're in charge of your own safety and you don't have to let other people being pissed off really affect your energy level. Yeah. And now if she huffs and puffs, sometimes I'm like, everything all right? Like I'm asking because I'm curious, not because I'm worried about my safety. And usually she's just like, yeah, why? Like I don't even think she realized that she's having a heavy sigh, and I'm over here, my whole system is going, fuck, you know. I just had no idea that, and it's not her fault, and it's not on her. It's like that's where you have to be in control of your own emotions, your own, the own feelings. Yeah, own it.
And you know, like again, awareness.
It's awareness.
You become aware, more aware all the time, and then you become aware some more, and then time goes on,
and you practice it,
and then you become aware some more. I just had a thing last week when I went to give blood.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, you know, when you go to give blood, you got to get checked in. It's like a 15-minute process of them, you know, checking to see if you have enough iron, your blood pressure, answering all.
How many people you slept with?
Yeah.
How many countries have you visited?
Are you pregnant? Just a whole series of questions. All these things they have to check before they can draw your blood.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes. It's a solid 15 minutes.
At least, if they're fast.
So, yeah, and that's if nobody's in front of you. So if people are in front of you, then it's 15 minutes for them and then 15 minutes for the next one. So anyway, so I had an 8 o'clock appointment. I was like, I want to get in and get out because I got things to do, right? And I get there and I see a guy walking in and I'm like, oh, I bet he's going to the blood bank. Sure enough, he's going in. I'm like, God damn it. I wanted to be first,
instantly
right?
Annoyed.
Yeah, instantly annoyed, right? I'm like, fuck, now I'm going to sit around and wait and all this stuff. I'm like,
I'm being inconvenienced. That's not fair.
Exactly. So it was like this whole ego thing. And then I got in there and I had to tell myself, like, it's fine. You know, first of all, it's fine. But then I really got the message, I think, from the message came clear to me when I got into the room where they were doing all the questions.
The universe gave her a message.
The universe gave me a message, and it was a poster that had on the wall of a woman that had breast cancer. It was a story, because they use stories to tell you about people that have used donated blood. So it was a story
who
of a
you're
woman
helping save.
Yeah, who you help save. So it was a woman who'd had breast cancer, and she needed like so many pints of blood for a transfusion or whatever like that during her treatment. And it just really brought me down to earth. Like, shit, you know, here I am complaining about bitching, even if it's just to the universe, about, oh, I have to wait, you know, I don't want to wait around, you know, I'm in being inconvenienced. My time's so valuable and all this stuff. It's like, whoa.
I need to be first.
It's like, whoa, like, come down here to earth and see what's really going on. You're donating blood for somebody who is in need. Somebody is going through. If you have to have blood, if you have to have a transfusion, my grandson had a transfusion. 8
of them.
Yeah. You know, when you get to that point where you've got to have blood, you're in serious.
You're in dire need.
You're in probably a life or death situation. And so it just, you know, the universe was like, here you go. This is why you're doing it. So calm the fuck down.
So sit down and shut up and stop being.
So it made me just like, it changed the whole attitude like instantly. Yeah. And then I was like grateful that I could do it. I'm grateful that I'm not the woman on the wall in the poster. Yeah. You know, and instead I'm able to be here and I'm healthy enough to give blood. Yeah. And so, you know, it just was a total shift. And I'm like, wow. Okay, I needed that lesson again. Yeah. You know?
Listen, as we continue to grow and learn things, you have to practice it before it truly becomes a habit for you, you know? Like, ignoring things that used to trigger you, or telling yourself when you hear that trigger, you're like, I'm still safe, everything's okay. 4th of July is coming up, or when you guys hear this podcast, 4th of July will have happened. 4th of July for us is in like 2 days. I don't like 4th of July. As you guys know, I went to Iraq and Afghanistan. I've been around lots of exploding shit that just happens randomly. I probably liked 4th of July as a kid, right?
Yeah, of course.
No, hate it now. I have real distaste for it. People are shooting them off all the time, and it still shocks my system when I start hearing stuff, because I still go back to gunshots, explosions. You know, there's just the noise, kind of like, it makes me highly aware, highly focused, attuned. Gosh, if Brandon was here, she would tell me, like, she's really good at talking about this stuff because she knows the ADHD brain and all of the things that go on with it. And so she's explained some of my symptoms to me. She's like, oh yeah, it's like hyper focus. I think that's what she would say. But when you get a trigger for something and then all of a sudden it's just like, that's the only thing you can think about, and you're almost in fight or flight mode. And that's what fireworks do for me. And now, like, I have to breathe heavy just talking about it. Now that it's going on, it's like every year I'm exposed to this, and every year I keep trying to tell myself, like, you're still okay. Everything's okay. Like, you're not exposing yourself to it, like, outside. You're in your house. Like, I make sure I don't go out because I'd rather be at home, like, maybe turn the TV up loud or something. But every year I get better and better about hearing the random fireworks. I don't like it. I'm not happy about it, but I get better about accepting it and not having this energy spike of, like, tenseness and kind of, like, my stomach hurts talking about it right now.
Yeah.
That's how sensitive I am still to it. And it's like,
Yeah.
how many years ago was that? God, I left in 2011, so it's been a long time.
So all of the things we've been talking about is like energetic alignment here.
Yeah.
So we're like
changing your energy, shifting into it, feeling it. Because if you're going to do spell work or
need that,
rituals,
yeah.
you should feel something.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling things that are not good, so if you have all of these spikes that are kind of bad when you're doing these rituals where it's like, oh God, okay, I got to do this, and you feel like this anxiousness running around, that's probably why I wrote all of this, is to explain all these anxious situations that we have in our lives. If you have that because you have that checklist of spell work, of rituals that you think you need to do to be a good witch, to be a whatever, like whatever the label is in your head, successful witch, am I a real witch, you know?
Yeah, real witch. I think
A
it's
real
like real
witch? Yeah, like, am I a real witch if I'm not doing spells every day? If I'm
Yeah.
not putting my crystals under the moon? If I'm not making moon water? You know?
Yeah, if I'm not doing all
If I'm
the
not
things that I
hexing the
say.
patriarchy, am I really a real
Yeah.
witch? Like, all of the things. If it doesn't give you that other sense of, like, peace, calm, joy, connectedness, leaning into a practice that's growing you, that's helping you, it's probably not helping you. It's probably stressing you out more.
Yeah.
It's probably not making you feel very good. And
Yeah.
we'd like you to stay away from those traps if you can. We'd like to call your attention to it and know that that's what the overload of information can do. That's what looking at a lot of stuff on social media can do. You get that comparison thing where it makes you not feel good about yourself because you're like, I don't have all of that. I can't do all of that. Being able to allow and have acceptance for the things that you can do is really, it's life-changing to not compare yourself and not feel less than, because that affects your worth. And, you know, nobody wants to feel unworthy.
Remember to stop measuring your magic by what other witches are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Your path is yours.
Yeah. Until next time, we love you guys so much. We talked about so many stories.
We did talk about so many stories.
I know.
So, in closing, if no one told you today, let me be the one to tell you, you don't have to earn your magic by exhausting yourself. You don't need a crystal grid, a moon bath, 3 anointed candles to be a real witch.
Yeah.
You're already sacred. You're already powerful. You're allowed to rest and still be magical.
Absolutely. A day on the couch doesn't mean anything.
So take what serves you, leave the rest, and remember, your practice should nourish you. Not drain you. Let go of the pressure, let go of the checklist, and come back home to your own rhythm. That's where the real magic lives.
Yes. Now, until next time, we love you guys so much. Remember that you are the magic, and you will always be enough.
Always.
Just as you are.
Just the way you are.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, witches.
Bye.